This is the final part of a mini-series that has been going on for the last few weeks, so please watch the following 4 videos before beginning this one. If not, thank you for watching, and subscribe. Before Mike could catch an undead breath, news came his way. Fazbear Entertainment was back again and was looking for new business owners to run their own pizza place. Mike was confused. This seemed odd, especially happening so soon after Fazbear Fright going down. Was this just a cry for attention from the board, or was this something else? Mike had nothing better to do and a mission to accomplish, so he applied and got the job. Suspiciously fast. Mike now ran a pizzeria during the day, gathering sponsors, creating entertainment, and stuff like that. There was something weird though. Paragraph 4 on his contract had strange requests. Every day after the restaurant would close, Mike would have to go to the side alley to scavenge something. Mike went out on the first night and found it, laying in the alleyway. It was the remains of the fun times. Morton Freddy laid lifeless in the alleyway. Mike took it in and put it across the table from him. He played a cassette. The gruff voice on the recording told him to check the boxes on his paper anytime it would move. He did, and when the bot would move, Mike would shock it. Mike should feel good, shocking that beast that killed him, but he felt nothing. Not even feel anymore. Mike had been through so much, so many nights at Freddy's. At this point, he was numb to it all. Mike finished his job and left, going to his office where he prepared for the next day while fending off the beast. It even taunted him, but Mike didn't budge. He finished the job and left, letting it wander the endless hall of the maze-like structure. Mike did this for the next 3 nights. After the restaurant closed, he'd go to the alley and found more. His sister, his father, and a black bear? The black bear confused him, but he heard her whispers and could see the black and white stripes between the joints. It was Charlie. Mike kind of felt bad. He knew Charlie wasn't like the others, but she was angry, confused, and lashing out, so he had to do what he had to do. Mike saw the seeds of the plan coming together. He found more blueprints and other things on the computer, recordings from Mike's mysterious employer. He was willing to go along. Then Saturday came, and after Mike finished his shift, he heard her. Baby taunted him. She thought this was a trap, but not for them, but for Mike. She thought that Daddy Dare set this all up, but no. William knew this was some kind of trap, but he didn't care anymore. Madness has taken his mind, and he wanted Mike dead. Baby mocked Mike. Yeah, that wasn't the bot that Mike met back at the rental shop. No, this was his sister, alright. Before Elizabeth could do more, someone interrupted her. It was the man on the cassette player, the man who made this plan, who got Mike involved. It was Henry.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name. But I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole, so don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms the way you lifted others into yours. And then what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
The labyrinth was burning as the animatronics did as well. Henry was nearby. He'd done it. He finished what he started. He just hoped that they could all find peace somewhere. All these children that he failed to save, that he neglected. As Henry said, there was a way out for Mike, but he knew this is where his story had to end. He lived longer than he should have, and all the remnant needed to be burnt away, including the one in him. He closed his eyes, resting with a small smile on his face, as he left the rest to them. The others, as the building and everyone inside, was gone. But it wasn't over. No, it should have been the end there, but there was still more to do. The spirits still needed their happiest day, and Cassidy wasn't done with William. It was time to enact the plan that Cassidy and Charlie had been planning for decades. William was dead, but not fully. Cassidy wouldn't let him die. No, Cassidy created something, a never-ending torture for William, creating every monster that she could, every animatronic that William helped create. He used them all to hurt him again and again and again. William was in a never-ending nightmare, fighting off 50 animatronics at a time. There was no winning or losing. William made it to 6 AM, it reset. William got ripped to shreds, brutally murdered, teared apart, and it would reset again. While Cassidy got her vengeance and kept William busy, Charlie would work on saving the children. She had them all ready to go. Gabriel, Jeremy, Fritz, and Susie, but there was one more she needed to save. One she didn't really account for, but Cassidy did. Evan Afton. Cassidy spent time with Evan. She knew how to save him. And with that knowledge, Charlie and the rest of the MCI kids would go through Evan's memories, trying to help him remember who he was so that he could finally have the party that was taken from him. Charlie made a ward and a Bear-type character to help set the pieces up to bring Evan back, to put not just him, but all of them to peace. You set up the pieces in motion. You set up their happiest day, so that they could rest and the MCI kids could finish it. They gave Evan what he never had. It's like what Evan would always say, these characters were his friends, and now they literally were. The kids gave cake and set up their party, and now they were just waiting for their ringleader, their host, Charlie. The girl who started this all, the girl who helped them, who stayed with them all these years. It was her mistake that set up these 30 plus years of agony into motion, and now it was time for her to make it right. But this time, she wasn't gonna forget her friend. She went to Cassidy. Leave the demons with his demons. Rest. Charlie wanted Cassidy to come with her. Cassidy deserved her happiest day too, but Cassidy couldn't heal him. She heard Afton screaming in the distance. He screamed out, "Mike! Henry!" Charlie gave her hand out to Cassidy, but Cassidy couldn't. He couldn't forgive him. She couldn't forget. Charlie had to respect that. Cassidy went back to her void. She went back to her vengeance. It consumed her, and it always would. Charlie returned to what her and the MCI kids created, a mock-up of Fredbear's family dino, just like how it looked on Evan's birthday. They were waiting for her. All of them had their masks on besides Evan. Charlie walked up with a smile. "Happy birthday, Evan." She put down the cake and Evan opened his eyes. He stopped crying and looked up at her, at them. His friends. He smiled as Charlie handed him something else. Something that in the real world, Mike and William put in a small box and left abandoned years ago. It was a Fredbear mask. It was what Evan was supposed to wear on that fateful day in 1983. Evan put it on as Charlie put on hers, and before they knew it, all 6 of their masks fell to the ground. The spirits moved on to the afterlife, finally after decades of never-ending torment, resting peacefully.